You know, the floors, they do the floors,
Yeah.
polish them up, and
Yeah.
there's some other painting things that need to be done. The back of got scheduled in. I got.
No, all of them.
I want to wait until these guys are all the shit done. Get the cabinet guy, all the cabinet and stuff.
That's probably just put it for a minute. I don't know who he used, but he was very good.
Okay.
Yeah, to get that information from him.
Yeah. I'm having, well, this is the contractor, one of my clients.
Yeah, you tell me.
So then the bathtub refinish. Miracle. That's that's $1,000. There's a tub and a vanity. It's a lot cheaper. But the vanity.
Yeah.
Got your price on that. Some nice looking vanities and
So
$1,000 for a vanity and tub.
how's that compared to back in 17 when you started Western Holdings? Usually a big increase.
I gotta go back and look. I didn't think I didn't think that was that, yeah, I think probably went up maybe $200. But I think like,
Before
like I said, I think that whole bathroom.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, yeah. And I did my places over on Madison, but apartments and the other place. Yeah, probably about 2 years. And that was
How long ago was that?
5 years. Yeah. Still better than having the walls torn out. I just had the walls out here, but it was just a cheaper, like that's not. That shit did. And we talked about like doing. I didn't need anything. I thought that I want something.
Yeah.
Look, we're putting this nice kitchen. No, I'm not cheaping out.
Yeah.
Because Keon was, you could do this around.
You doing a tile?
Yeah. It's a 12 by 12 tile that we already got the tile for. We're doing it. 3 walls, and then the rest of the bathroom. But we're not doing it in the kitchen. We're doing a essentially,
Yes.
but we're not doing that. Nice cabinet. And the vanities that we have solid wood right now, we paint.
I'm not doing this bathroom kitchen.
Just a bathroom, kitchen, and then new flooring in the kitchen and bathroom. They're hardwood flooring throughout the house. We're going to polish out of them. We already painted the second floor. Essentially, I just have to paint it. And then. And the first floor, we gotta go down. Once they're finished, everything. And like, there's the kitchen. The electrician's coming Thursday. To add some outlets for appliances, relocate. I'm not sure for that dish, but the dishwasher and the came to refrigerator, electric stove. And
Yo, electric.
steam, boiler furnace, and it was there when Kathy was.
I changed one of those over at a rental from one of the gas. There was a gas line over in the town.
Yeah,
It's like $900. Best night I've ever spent over it.
we thought about it, and it's to the point. Because our neighbor was there, he actually called, and you know, but the thing is to the point now, you probably do. We're at the mirroring. That was good.
Yeah.
So then you'll probably.
Like, okay. Yeah.
What is
Did you write your lease up on that little building out front there, your cave, the big building in the back?
Oh, no.
A little one.
exciting?
Yeah. I gotta get it in.
Yeah. And I say. Makes no sense.
He doesn't get a great climate. I have it with me at all times. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. It's the end of the day. Oh my. We had dinner.
Yeah.
Then. Save that busy on it. All they do is just. It's a day off. He said he had to do something online, but it's to show that he. By the time I clean my stuff out. It's stuff about it. Yes. I told my dad, how's his getting around? And how the mountain story and all. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. There we go. All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adrian Young. I have the Adrian Young team here at KW. I've been an agent for 21 years, so I feel like I've seen and done most of all of it. But what we're going to talk about today, I have as professional standards, which sounds a little misleading, except when I thought about it, what we're going to talk about are things that you as professional realtors should be making your standards. So I think the title is fine for us. And what we're going to talk about today is, Sonia loves to refer to as my special sauce, my secret sauce. But all I'm going to tell you today is what you need to do consistently. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be earth shaking. It is going to be something you've probably heard before if you've been in the business for any amount of time. What I hope you will take from it is an understanding that if you want to reach the board up here, and a lot of people in this room have hit that board, you want to get on that board, you're going to have to change the way you view your business. And so hopefully by the end of it, I've given you an insight into what my team does on a daily basis, the things that we do to be successful, and the habits and systems we've created. I'm going to talk for 45 minutes. We'll see if I run out of steam or not. Then we're going to have a Q&A at the end, and I will answer any questions that you guys have about what we do, why we do it, how we do it, anything. This is not going to be like how to use a CRM or how to have a conversation with a client. We're not going to talk about that today. I'm literally going to talk about as basic can be. So think about these questions. Does your day control you, or do you control your day? Who thinks they're in control of their day? Man, okay. Jackson sort of waved his
Kinda,
hand
yeah.
feebly. Okay. So why are you not in control of your day? What's the problem? Somebody that kept their hand down, give me an answer now. What is the problem? So everybody should have an answer for me. Tell me.
Just-
Distractions. Okay. Tell me more about that. What do you mean distractions?
Well, for me, I'm easily
Fair, that's honest. Appreciate that.
things might come up and I will divert my attention to that thing and then something else, and it takes me a while to get back to what it is I had planned to do that.
Good. That's fair. Something else. Kate,
Firefighters, we have to put the fire out as second as first.
is that a real thing or is that in here? Okay, that I appreciate, because I think if you're in real estate, especially if you've been in it, you have the thought that like, oh my gosh, I have to do this right now. Like we get stuck in that role often where we don't figure it out right away. The whole thing's going to become even worse. Not instead of a fire, it's an inferno. And I think that's definitely a mental thing. What I hope we're going to talk about today is how to mitigate some of those things that feel like you have no choice but to do them right away. Like what I want you to understand is when you get up in the morning, everything determines your level of success for that day. So we're not going to talk about what happens when you get to the office. I'm going to talk about what it looks like from the moment you open your eyes in the morning and give you a look into how you can take control of everything. It starts with the way you wake up in the morning. Does anybody else believe that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's dig in. So the first thing I want to talk about is consistency. Who thinks that they are consistent in their daily habits? Okay. We got so much room here to grow. Now, I mean, what kind of things, let's try this. What kind of things do you think you need to do to be successful in your real estate business? Shout them out. Just give me some things. Consistency with what though? Prospecting, lead gen, time blocking. God, I love that. Thank you, Kate. Time blocking. We're going to spend so much time on time blocking. My team is already rolling their eyes at me up front here. They hear it. It's silly. So what we're going to try and focus on instead of 12 hours in a day to do things, because we have a lot of time in real estate. Nobody in this room works 9 to 5, and if you do, we have to talk afterwards. We work all the time theoretically, but what we don't do well as an industry is control any portion of our day. And so we're going to try and understand that making small daily actions, small time blocks, no more than maybe an hour at a time, which that's still small. But if you do that over and over and over, then you're going to get the results. And the people that are on that board, I guarantee you have some measure of this integrated into their business. If you've been here a long time, you've got some measure of this integrated into your business. There's no way to be successful unless you understand how to take some control. So does anybody not understand what it takes to be successful in real estate? Good. What prevents you from doing it? What prevents you from doing, like, if you know, because everybody looked at me like, yeah, they know, and I see heads nodding. And I know people in this room have been here, they've been doing this for a while and have been really good at it. What prevents you? If you know that you're supposed to do it, what prevents you from doing it?
Discipline.
Okay. Fear of failure, that's a good one. Who thinks fear is when you say fear, what's the fear? Just help me. I think I know what you're talking about, but tell me more about what's the fear. Rejection.
Worrying about what people think about you.
Yeah.
It's a pushy salesperson. Man.
Okay. The rejection one is one that we're going to talk about a little bit. I think to be good in real estate, you have to have a really thick skin, obviously, but really thick skin. But I had somebody years ago say to me that the person that hears the most no's will ultimately hear the most yeses. Anybody heard that before? Like, it makes sense, right? If you're trying to talk through like a block or keep being told no, you give up on the first no, you might as well get on the wanted ads and find another job, because we get told no all the time. Like, My ex-wife used to joke that it was impossible to argue with me because if she told me no, I just like, fine, whatever, I'll go try again. Like it just became ingrained in my head that that's how I, thank you. Appreciate that. I like that. But the problem being told no is that until you start to do these things repetitively, you start to do these small actions over and over, you don't get used to it. You don't get used to being told no. It still hits you and makes that feeling inside of you reject it. And then you clam up and you want to stop your activities. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So by leaning into these things, these little things, we're going to talk about what the little things are. By leaning into them and doing them over and over, several things are going to happen. One, you're going to have better conversations ultimately. You're going to become less of the pushy salesperson and more of the conversation haver. We talk about how we talk to people. Like that's a big thing that we focus on our team is how to have conversations. It's not a sales pitch, it's a conversation. We work on that. We also, in addition to learning how to have these conversations better, we get better at handling the objections that come up during the conversations. Those are key things when you're trying to talk to people, talk to strangers. I mean, my team will tell you that one of the things we've done before is go to the giant grocery store and they all have to pick out a client in the grocery store and go talk to them. Just start up a conversation. They're not allowed to tell them they're in real estate. They're not allowed to try and sell them on anything. They just have to go and talk to them. And whoever can get the most information they get a prize back. But at the end of the conversation with this person, they can give them a giant gift card and explain who they are and what they do. So, I mean, yeah, talk about going outside your comfort zone. I'll tell you, walk to a random stranger doing their grocery shopping. Typically want to be left alone and get them to have a conversation with you. Little things like that we like to play around with. But the thing that we definitely want to talk about are these daily actions. So there's two types of agents. You have the emotional agent and the disciplined agent. Emotional agents work when they get the fire in them, or they feel like, oh my gosh, I got to make an extra dollar. I need a listing. I need something. And then they work. That's emotional. The disciplined agent work from a schedule. Do the same thing every day. Is it boring? Is it boring doing the same thing every day, Jacob? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Jacob, what else is fun about when it's boring? What does that typically equal?
Some success.
Success, right. Boring leads to success in real estate. Like the excitement of our job comes because we do all the boring stuff and then we get to go out and show the houses or sell the houses, meet the people, all that stuff. But it only comes when you are disciplined with your activities. Emotional agents track closings. You can't get closings unless you do the things to find the clients. Closings are great. We love that picture on closing day, right? Us with the clients, the sold sign, we love to talk about that stuff. But you can't get that if you're not being disciplined. The things that we track on our team, we track the effort. We track the number of calls we make, the conversations we have. Things like that. That's what's going to lead. If you do that stuff, it's going to lead you to appointments, which is going to lead you to closings. So as you're thinking about what type of agent are you going to be an emotional agent? Are you going to be a disciplined agent? Discipline wins in this business every time. You can't be consistent without being disciplined. So these are the things that we do on a daily basis. These are non-negotiables for us. These are the things that we time block into. We're going to prospect every single day. What do we prospect around? We prospect around our listings. We take a listing. One of the things that we have to do is call the 100 houses around the listing. It's a non-negotiable for us. Well, it says non-negotiable. We spend roughly 30 to 45 minutes on that. We have our CRM engagement. Who in here uses a CRM? Oh, God, every hand, please. Okay. CRM would be, Command, for instance, is our in-house CRM, which is great. So if you're using Command, you're using a CRM. There are all sorts of outside CRMs. One thing I can tell you, a CRM does not exist here. It really shouldn't even exist on a piece of paper. It's not going to work very well for you in the long term. It might work for you immediately. The long term, you need something more because you're going to do all the stuff and you're going to have so many clients. You are, I promise. You're going to need something to track it. So your CRM, we have non-negotiable is in your CRM every day, at least once a day, right? Yeah, my team is just nodding to hear this from me all the time. CRM engagement is non-negotiable. It runs your business for you. Runs your business. And then the third thing we do is our business prep. This could be work around our open houses or events that we're doing, anything like that. These three things happen every day for us because we believe that if you're doing these things every single day, this is going to lead you to the things that you're looking for. And we do it consistently because we want to be successful. Who has ever, we'll talk about, I don't want to jump ahead, but I want you to think about a time when your business quite hasn't been going the way you want it to. We're going to talk about why you got there. So let's talk about what our schedules look like. So I mentioned that your business starts the day. Get up early. I mentioned that your day starts the minute you wake up in the morning. So who wakes up, rolls over, checks their phone for a little bit, scrolls a little bit, does a little bit of that, then gets up and like, who does that? Go ahead, raise your hand if you do it. Totally fine. Cool. Yeah. Okay. They say that when you get up and you wake up and you go right into stimulating your brain, that you're setting the tone for a frenetic, chaotic day. You're not giving yourself that smooth, soft wake up. There's a book called The Miracle Morning. I love it. Love it. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it. The guy who wrote it went through like a horrific accident and almost cost him his life, but it made him reevaluate how he goes about his days. And it started with his mornings. And he talks about 6 pillars you're supposed to do each morning. And I will admit, I'm not a devotion guy. I'm not a journal guy. I don't do that. But what I do, I wake up every morning at 5:30, ready to go. My alarm is on my phone. I turn it off and I put the phone back down. We don't look at it again for at least a half an hour. I go downstairs, my coffee's going. I'm an avid, ridiculous amount of coffee drinker every day. 3 cups by 6 a.m. Oh, I know, it's ridiculous. That doesn't count the coffee that I buy and drink on the way into the office here. That's another thing. So from 5:30 to 6, I have some coffee and I read. I read all sorts of stuff. I read some motivational stuff. I read some trash. I do. Like, it's fine. But I read. It's quiet. Gives me something to process. It's not a visual light on my phone. It's something that allows me to start things off in a controlled thing. I then take my dog for a 2-mile walk every morning. We're not on the door by 6 o'clock. My dog's pissed. And he's letting me know. He's barking at me. He's wagging. He's at the door. He's calling at the door. Like, he knows that's his routine. I've created his habit. He knows that we're going for a walk. So that's all. By 6:30, I have read a book. I've had a certain amount of coffee and I've done a 2-mile walk. I get in some looks like people are like, really? Does that sound crazy? You're looking at me like, get out of here. That sound crazy?
No, it's ambitious.
So I will admit I wasn't always this way. Like I was that guy a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where I would have gotten up, I would have scrolled on my phone for a half an hour. I would have gone downstairs, scrolled on my phone some more. Like I wasn't reading as much. I certainly wasn't going for a walk. I weighed 50 pounds more than I do now. I mean, I'm not thin or anything, but I was way bigger. But I also realized when I made this change and started doing this, the next step of the day where it was time to be purposeful and disciplined at work was much easier when I was doing this. They say that like when your day starts, you should be ready to go 2 hours before your first thing of the day. So when do you guys start your business? I mean, when you start your business, you should have an answer.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay, that's fair. Anybody else have a time that they start their business?
8:30.
Okay. Okay. I would encourage you all to have a time to start your business. To your point, you talked about we have this mentality of we got to put it out right away. Somebody reaches out to us at 6:45 in the morning. We better take that call, right? We better answer that problem. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. Being disciplined in your business helps you understand that problem that's there at 6:45 will still be there at 8:45 or 9 o'clock when you get all your other things done and you're now ready to attack your day. They shouldn't say don't because there's never such thing as an absolute in real estate, but rarely do they evolve into such a dumpster fire that you can't put it out 2 hours later.
Sure.
That's the hardest thing to do because when we talk about time blocking and structured mornings, it becomes hard to accept that you can actually control your day. The business will still be there around it. Promise you. If you're good at what you do and you provide service to your clients, they'll understand. They'll say, hey, look, I'll get back to you within 2 hours, I promise. 2 hours gives you plenty of time to get through all the things I'm going to talk about for your time blocking, your systems, all that stuff. That's it. I'm asking for 2 hours. Does anybody think that that's unreasonable or a version of that? Maybe you don't want to read. That's fine. I think you should read. Good for your brain. Does anybody think that that's impossible? Who here is like a go to bed at 2 a.m. person? I know you are, Dana. I know. Okay. Okay.
Depends on the day, but I'm very
Okay.
I'm a very hard sleeper.
That's fair. I understand the hard time sleeping thing. I understand. I used to have a hard time sleeping as well. I get in bed, my brain would just be just rolling all. But one of the things that I found has made the biggest difference though is how I wake up in the morning. If I wake up intentional, I find myself going to bed intentional. Like at the end of the day, I'm ready to be done. I've had a controlled day in terms of how I start myself. I've had a controlled day in what I can control my business. We all know once your real estate business starts in the day, you know, it's just happening. I mean, oftentimes it happens way outside of your control, no matter what. So this cycle, this wake up in the morning is predicated by you going to bed in a nice way. That we're not going to talk about that yet. That's a little too much at once for everybody. So who's familiar with something called a burnout cycle? It's a big thing. Hey, there we go. It's a big thing in real estate, right? You work, you have a monster month.
Lay down. Lay
You have
down.
that monster month and you're doing all you can to manage all these transactions you have going on. And you forget about all the things you did to make you have that big month.
Lay down.
My team is relatively new, this version of my team. We only formed last January.
Stay.
And we spent the first 90 days we were together just training, integrating, systems, having conversations about conversations, like sounds really redundant, but like we were doing all this stuff to build us to where I wanted to take us. We didn't sell more than a couple houses a month last January, February, March. You can go look it up. I don't think more than like 6 a month, but we were building towards something. And we got to May of last year, I think, and we did like 13 sales and we were like, oh my God, this is amazing, it's a great number. But we were so excited for it, we forgot to do all the habits that we had built. We were working at it. We were trying to close. We put aside our CRM stuff. We put aside our habits. And we followed it up with like a June and July that were like, bleh, right? Yeah. That was a burnout cycle. We had this monster month. We put all of our effort into making sure we were having this monster month that we pulled back on all the activities that we had done that got us there. So then we had the inevitable income dip, right? That sucks. Income dips are awful because it makes you panic. And when we talk about the emotional agent, right? The emotional agent at that point is panicking with, oh my gosh, I don't have anything else to do. And they quick make all these calls and they try and ramp the business up. And it becomes this vicious cycle. Who knows about the waves in real estate, right? They're going to happen. We're dealing with people in their houses. It's going to happen. But your job is to make these become this. The waves are mitigated when you're consistent in what you need to do with your business. If you allow it to go through this burnout cycle over, and you can, I know a lot of agents that they live in that burnout cycle. I mean, good for them. You drive me nuts. I'm way too type A to control to let that happen. It would drive me crazy. So a lot of agents live that world. Anybody in here living on the burnout cycle world right now? Dana, you are. That's you. You own that thing. You sure do. When you're in that down part, I'm going to ask you first. So when you're in that down, how's that feel?
And then you don't notice it.
Right.
You don't notice it's good or and then
Panic. And then what happens? Then you panic and you go, oh my gosh, I got to start doing this again. Okay. And I appreciate you letting me pick on you a little bit because I, that's a real thing. Like, and no matter what in real estate, you're going to find those times where you get overwhelmed. especially when you start to get cooking in business, like overwhelming and panicky. It's a thing in real estate. Anybody in here say they've never felt overwhelmed in a business? Never? I appreciate that.
No, never once.
Never once. And why do you think?
You might be asking the wrong guy that question.
I mean, there's always an exception to it. So you might be that person that this business doesn't do that to you.
I'm a retiree who sells real estate.
Okay.
You know,
I'm envious. Yeah. I'm insanely envious, truthfully. One of the things that we've worked so hard to do is mitigate that panic moment. Because talk about not sleeping well and things like that. When you're in a panic real estate mode, it affects everything else around you. It used to affect my moods, how I would sleep, how I would treat the people around me. It was terrible. The burnout cycle is real. I mean, we're trying to avoid this burnout cycle. So in order to avoid a burnout cycle, we have a couple of things that we try and lay into consistently, because we've already talked about our mornings and how we run our mornings. The morning then sets us up for this. This is so simple, right? There's only like 4 things on here, right? Easy. I told you we're not going to talk about how we do it. We're going to talk about what we do. That's it. Every morning at 8:30, we jump on a Zoom call. Looks like, what was that? The Hollywood Squares, where all these little faces in a Zoom call. We're talking about what we're doing for the day. It's a little accountability. But it's also a chance for us just to kind of reconnect every morning. Calls are sometimes productive, sometimes a little out of pocket. That's what happens when you have people that jump on a Zoom every morning. But what I find is when we don't do it, I get some people that say, hey, I missed our call this morning. Like it's a starting point for us. We go right from that Zoom call, 9 to 11, we call it our growth block. We try and own that 2-hour window. That's when we do that business growth, the CRM stuff. That's our 2-hour window. Now, is it 100% 9 to 11 every day? We're not there yet. The hardest thing to do is to, as I said, is to turn off and make sure that your clients know from 9 to 11 every day, I'm not available. We do it well. I would say we do it at about 80%, which is pretty good. We were at like 40% a year ago. So we're getting better at it. There's a guy that runs, I believe it's called KW Empower down in Philadelphia. He will not take a call, will not meet a client, will not do anything between 9 and 11 any day. That is his time. That is it. Now, it's not like he implemented this yesterday and it's like, okay, it's my time. Like he's built this over time. But imagine if I said to you every day, you have 2 hours to do nothing but focus on your business. How much would that change your business? Like major, right? Major change. What holds you back from doing it? What holds you back from doing it?
Keeps my kids.
Okay. Okay. What else? What holds you back? Why wouldn't you make that? This is me. 2 hours every day. I get it. If you not do that. If you know the benefit. Yeah.
This is gonna sound really weird, but like I get a fear of getting too much because when I turn it on, it comes like really fast.
Okay.
And then I'm overwhelmed and it's too much. So it's like I like self-sabotage.
So you get it, you get moving, it gets so overwhelming that you forget about all this stuff over here because you're just crushing it, and then it comes back down here, right? Okay. I mean, there's only so far in the psychology moment I can go, but I mean, I get what you're saying though, because like it's the best part though when you get to a thing where you're like, I'm too busy. Like too busy. Busy's kind of fun at first, and it's like, oh my, I'm too busy. The too busy typically follows the pullback, the bottom, the panic, all that. The consistency will lead you to a better place with it. If you say from 9 to 11, I'm going to handle all the things that I have to handle that are not client facing related. When I say client facing, I mean you're not meeting them in person, you're not going on listing appointments, you're not showing houses, You are digging into your CRM, you're making your outgoing calls, and you're setting up your business, your open houses, your mailers, your social media posts, whatever. That's your morning. No client comes to you at that point. Sounds crazy, right? I want to shut my clients out. It'll change the way things run for you. Absolutely. We then have a wide open execution window, 11 to 8. That's 9 hours to do all your stuff real estate related. Sounds like more than enough time, right? Does anybody think 9 hours isn't enough time in a day to get your real estate business done? Does anybody have more than 9 hours a day of active client work? Because if you do, I'd like to sit down and talk to you. I'd love to know what you're doing to have 9 hours a day of active client work. More likely you have an hour here, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes later today, right? That's more likely in real estate. And what I often find is that we try and take this growth block and break it up into this time frame in between all of our other client stuff. You say, we'll do this client at 11, and then we're going to do our CRM at 12, and then we're going to do our CRM again at 2 o'clock, and then we're going to, what's the problem with that? Yeah, you don't get into a rhythm, right? Like anybody that's ever done prospecting or calls, like you get into a rhythm, right? Settle in, start to get a little flow behind your talk, goes a little smoother, you start to connect a little better. You break it up and say, I'm going to do 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here. You never get into that rhythm, never get settled, which is why this part, more than anything else we talk about, might be the key, that 2-hour block. Does anybody have an end time in their business? Is there a time you will not talk to clients after? Tell me, Reed.
Yeah, I basically tell my clients that I don't answer the phone past 8:30 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's my time. It's
Sure.
a time to relax, unwind.
Yep. I talked about the mornings and how critical they are, but how you end that day is totally going to determine how your morning looks. I mean, I know, yeah.
So many agents I've learned over the years say to me and to other people too that if you're not answering the phone at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, it is a bad thing. I say there should not be a 24/7 service.
I agree with you. I mean, I used to be somebody that would
I
answer
know,
my phone
right?
at 6 in the morning and take it at 11 o'clock. If I was up, chances are I'm going to take your call.
Killed me.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Killed me.
Brutal. I mean, the one thing that I've learned is if you provide such value to your client, such service, when you to deliver it, that if you follow through on what you give them, they will respect your time. They'll respect your boundaries when you set it. So yeah, I mean, after 9 o'clock, I'm not doing anything real estate related. Nothing. I don't care if the house is on fire. I'm not going to put it out. I'll deal with it tomorrow. It will still be there. My problems at 9 o'clock at night will typically still be there the next morning at 6:30 when I'm ready to engage on my phone again. There's no need for you to feel like it's a 24/7 thing.
If you're listening,
I'm not going to answer it regardless to know if it's on fire. Won't matter. There may be. That's okay. That's okay. What I do is not for everybody. All right. That's the first thing that I'll say. I will also say that what I'm doing works. Say that also. You don't have to completely change the way you do your business. Well, I would never. I do not have this talk so many times. I just know that if you want to truly own, this block in here, this 8:30 to 8, this 12-hour window, you should be able to have the time for yourself before that and after that to focus on you. Do the things you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have to do that if you're going to make all this other stuff work.
I actually have a hard, like a really strict, no communication policy against realtors, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
Like,
Yeah.
Clients are different.
I find that, I mean, I understand that too, the difference between
Like,
the
I'm not
realtors and
giving-
clients.
Not texting you at 9 o'clock at night about it, like.
No, no.
Unless my money isn't maybe involved.
Yeah, well, and that's, I mean, even with my team, like they would tell me that I would text them at 6 o'clock in the morning, drove them nuts. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. So I will wait on that. And I just make it all as one big thing for me. I mean, if I'm dealing with a clients call me at 10 o'clock at night, probably an issue, which I get, but that's going to interrupt my ability to take care of myself and make sure that I'm going to bed smooth and get up smooth. I mean, issue will still be there.
Mhm.
It will. Are there exceptions to the rules? Yes, always. There could be that minor. My
I was
clients.
thinking like if you're writing an offer, like I can write one I'm competing against that offer. I can just show that I'm gonna answer them. Yeah.
So, so I did say that there's no such thing as an absolute in our business, okay? What we're not trying to do is just make everything be straight line. What we're trying to do is make wholesale changes to how we operate things. Are there gonna be exceptions to it? Yes. Like I woke up this morning and somebody reached out to me at 12:07 a.m. last night. Thank God my phone was on silent because I sleep terribly, but they were still up doing stuff. You know, they're in the business. They were still up doing stuff. So again, everybody may have a little tweak to it. But what you need to think about you're doing is making sure that you have enough time to properly handle your business. That's really what we're trying to get into. So, so these are three things that we measure when we're talking about our business. How many calls do we make? How many conversations do we have? And then how many appointments do we set? Does anybody know how many conversations it takes to get an appointment typically? Usually it's 100 to 1. It's like the old school real estate method. 100 cold calls will equal 1 appointment. Might equal a couple of conversations, but equals 1 appointment. We could have another class and talk about how to have better conversations to make that ratio much lower, but that's not today. So these are the three things. All the other things we talked about in that 2-hour window involve you trying to reach out and talk to clients. Like I said, that's your time to reach out to them, not them to reach out to you. So you're making your calls, you're in your CRM going through the tasks you have, you're talking around your listings, your open houses. Like that's what we're doing. Those are the things that we're measuring on. If we're making the calls, we're gonna convert it. I know that as a fact. They talk to you should come listen to them make calls Sunday. They're great at it. They get asked all sorts of questions, they're patient with people, they get into the beginning of the call, they wouldn't even talk to us, and at the end we're going to their house. Because they're patient, but they've done it so many times. We probably make 1,000 calls a week as a team. Easily. So one of the things that I want you to keep in mind, all the actions you do today, they don't pay off today, do they? No. They pay off like weeks or even months. Yeah. I mean, we have a whole swath of business that we have right now that we first engaged with last May and June. It's taken us 8 months to get them to finally talk to us. That's our lead generation. That's a totally different subject. But we know the work that we're doing now is part of the system. It's not the immediate. Real estate's not an immediate business. But that's why we know if we do it every day, that we'll start to eventually that ball's going to roll. For us, it took us 3 months last year where we started to get into it. We turned on the lead generation. We started to work the playbooks around our opportunities. And we started then to see the ball roll. I mean, I love seeing 57 up there, but I'm going to shoot for 60 and 70 next because we've got this thing rolling. Real estate's like the little snowball. You start with a snowball and you have this little thing and you start to push it down the hill. And as it rolls down the hill, what happens? Bigger. And eventually you have to stop pushing it. You just have to every now and then just give it a little touch. You just have to manage it. That only happens when you have these habits and you have the consistency to keep everything rolling. So here's how, again, this is the math, and this is simple. All equal conversations, conversations equal appointments, appointments equal contracts, contracts equal closing. That's simple. At the end, you can put closings equal dollars. That's what we're all here for, right? We want to earn some dollars. Yeah. Anybody here to not earn? Like, we have some other noble cause while we're here. You can have a noble cause. It's all right. You have a noble cause. We love helping people too, right? But I mean, I don't want to get cheap for it. So I can say that. All right. So we have, as I mentioned before, we do our daily check-in at 8:30 every morning. We have a Tuesday team meeting once a week for an hour. During our team meetings, we talk about our business. We talk about issues that we have. We talk about events we're doing as a team. We do outreach events. We do volunteer events. We do team building events like camping trips, things like that. We talk about all those sort of things. That's our hour to try and hammer out all of it. Today, we tried a little different thing where everybody had to talk about all their active deals and what was going on with it, and were there issues, were there problems, and we got to talk through a lot of things that probably a couple of them were going through the same thing together at the same time. And we could talk about it and work through things like that. But it's part of our schedule. We know that it's going to happen. It's consistency. See the theme here? So, everybody have goals in their business? Everybody. Okay, have you broken it down to what you need to do to hit those goals? Have you then broken it down into the activities you need to do to get the results to hit the goals? Have you gone all the way back that way? How far down have you broken it? Like, is there anybody that's broken down like hour by hour with what your activity should look like? That's too small, right? Day by day? Like what you have to do every day to hit your numbers? Like 125K seem like a good number? Not bad, right? Like that. Does everybody know what it would take then to get those amount of deals? To get everybody doing that kind of stuff? Yeah,
Sort of.
kind of, maybe a little bit. It will help you understand why it's so important to do that time block each day. It'll help you understand why you need to take time out of your schedule every single day to make it about you and your business. When you understand what you're shooting for, it makes it easier for you to accept that you're going to have to make sacrifices to get to those things. Everybody's goal is different, but the activities to get to the goals should be very similar. That's what we're looking for. All right, so I've talked about all these things. You know, to get up on time. Nobody wants to get up on time. Everyone's hit the snooze button. Everybody wants to roll out of bed and be sleepy-eyed, and it happens. But we talk about all this stuff, and my team would say that we spent a lot of time talking about this a year ago because I had things I wanted us to do as a team. And I knew if we were going to do them, that we had to change the way fundamentally that we focused on our business. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, by the way. Like, this is not secret sauce, Sonia. I'm sorry. Nothing secret sauce about this. This is an acknowledgement that to do this well, you have to do the boring stuff consistently. That's all I'm trying to get you to do, is to understand that real estate is often the growth of it is boring. It's exciting to do more numbers, and it's exciting to do more closings, but the process of getting there involves you making a ton of phone calls, having a ton of rejection, and then continuing just to power through it, because you know at the end of the day, you're going to end up putting up deals. For us, I mean, we started off last year with nothing. I think last January we did 2 deals. We ended the year with 196 units. I'm happy with that. I mean, my goals this year were 400 because I believe we built the system so well and we have everything locked down so well that we can get to a number like that. Even when I say it, I think I'm crazy, but I also believe that we can fully do it. Did it happen by sheer luck? Nope. Happened because my team was willing to buy into the basics. They're willing to accept that you have to do the boring stuff every single day. Are there going to be days off? Yeah, we go on vacation, we step out, it's okay. We do outreach events as a team for a day where we're all gone. We have team days, like we went to Franklin Street Social last week and had a great time celebrating our 57 units. We do stuff like that. And then the next day we're right back at it. Over and over and over. So the daily block, the daily growth block is you're going to do your activities and you're going to track it. And you're going to hold yourself or people that you work with accountable. The results are going to be there. learning how to refine the activities you're doing, that's a different thing. But for right now, if you picked up the phone and called 100 people and said, I'm a realtor, would you like to sell your house? Somebody would eventually say yes. It would be the worst kind of phone calls ever. But if I brought in a phone book and said, here, open up to this page, I want you to call the 100 people in there, somebody in there would want to sell their house. It's awful. I'm not going to ask you to do that. There's a much more targeted way to go after that business, but to show you that it works, it would. So what I'm hoping at the end of this is that you will realize that your time is just that. It is your time. It's not your client's time. It's your time. That's how you're going to change the way that you do business, the way your business performs. You're protecting your energy. You're going to track your efforts. You're going to build the systems. Build is just how you have to use them once you build them. I mean, we all have a CRM, but does everybody check into their CRM every day? Is everybody up to date on all their tasks in their CRM? I mean,
Still learning how to do that.
that's fair.
Right.
That's fair. That should be like, that's priority. Get that thing figured out. I mean, I've worked with agents before that I'd log into their CRM and they'd have 300 past due tasks and it would just make me break out in hives and sweat. Well, because you just know that at that point, they're not being consistent. You know, they're not in. The most motivated agent goes through periods where they need a break. If you build your systems and you build structure into it, that will drive the ship for you. It'll prevent you from having these days where you feel like you have to provide massive effort because you felt off for a little bit or your business is down. We've all been there. If you start to put the systems in place and you build these habits and you create structure in your real estate business and hell, your life, it'll change the way your business performs. It'll change the results that you get. It'll change the income you get. These are all great things. This is why we're here. That's all I have. I'm encouraging you all to, again, you know what this is. I haven't told you anything that's like groundbreaking or shattering anything. This is what you were told probably the day you got into real estate. What I'm challenging you is to take one thing that you feel that you can make an adjustment to, one thing, and change it. Change the way you get up in the morning. Change the time that you commit to being into your business each day. Change the time you stop answering calls at night. Something, change something and see how it starts to impact your business. Then you realize that it works, then add something else and build your system. Build it, build it, build it. So, all right, that's all I got. Any questions? Yes.
How did your team grow from January of last year, like in number for employees?
Well, in real estate, when you start to do transactions and to talk to Dana, so you get so busy that you realize, my gosh, I can't handle all of this. That's a great time then to start expanding out and bringing on agents.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that if we did what we were going to do, that we would have the need for agents.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to say to them, and they believed in it, but I was able to say to them, look, we're going to do it this way. This will lead us to this. It's going to take a bit, and there's going to be some growth, and there's going to be some pain involved, but this will work. And they did, and it does.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're in a position where we can talk to agents and say, I have guaranteed listing opportunities for you. Come with us, I'll guarantee I give you listings. I'm also going to expect a lot from you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm open about that when I talk to people. Like, I'm not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because I want you to come in and be willing to make all those calls, to knock on the doors, to do all those things. It's not for everybody. But yeah, go ahead. Fire away.
What else did you implement? Like, did you do content creation time each week for your team? And like, what other tools and systems did you put in place?
So content creation is interesting because one of the things that I struggle with these days, I feel like I'm too old to adapt to the younger. So I have some of the younger kids on my team. I call them kids, they're, young adults, but they can do the TikToks and all that stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want any part of it. It terrifies me. So like content creation, I mean, what I encourage everybody to do is to lean into the things that makes them successful. Like making their social media videos. Some people that works really well for. I'm somebody that loves to arrange face-to-face meetings, sit down and talk to you. Like, just spend time getting to know people. That works well for me. Staying in touch with my power base. It's huge for me. Do we know what their power base is? It's your sphere, basically. Basically, sounds cool. I can hear eventually. Like, I love to talk to those people. Just stay in touch with them. So I don't necessarily say you must spend 15 minutes every day creating social media content. Like, I'd be stuck. But that's not what drives my business. For a lot of people in real estate, like, they drive their business by creating content. I get that. I kind of admire that. But I can't do it. So what I do encourage is for you to lean into the things that you want to own and be good at, and do it now.
Are you guys buying leads or doing any pay at closing type?
I have a homes.com membership. That's all I have. Does anybody else have a homes.com membership? Okay, so cool. Okay, so homes.com offers, it's not like Zillow used to be like you'd pay in a fortune and they would send you leads, and realtor.com did a similar thing for you. There was all this, oh man. And I got caught up in it. I did. I mean, at one point I was spending like $6,000 a month on Zillow. Oh, I know, stupid. But it was also turning into like, 50 transactions, and it was great. But homes.com allows you to set up a membership so that every time you have a listing, they promote it within the area that's in. And every time somebody clicks on that listing through homes.com then retargets it into social media. So if you click on my listing on Homes, when you go on Facebook, you're going to see that same listing pop up there with my info again. I just got my homes.com weekly analytic report. I had 6.3 million views on my listings.
What's that cost you a month?
700. Well, I mean, it's way better than 6,000. So, but for us, that's really the only thing that we spend on. We do a lot of manual stuff, like lots and lots and lots of phone calls. Like it's one of the things that I think if I tracked it better, I would say we probably did like 50 to 60,000 calls last year.
Where are you getting the calls?
So, yeah, I mean, there are all sorts of services, but we make our calls around our listings, around, open houses that we're having, around properties that we've sold. It's when we're calling, like if I put up a listing, chances are around that listing, there's somebody else that either wants to sell their house as well, or maybe one of the neighbors knows somebody that wants to live in that neighborhood. For me, it's just a chance to talk to them, really. But by making those phone calls, if we go over that 100-to-1 ratio that I mentioned, we make 100 calls, we're going to find somebody that wants to talk further about real estate. It's an opportunity for us to get people to come to the open house. An opportunity for us just to continue to grow and to talk to people.
What about what you would say for somebody just starting out who doesn't have that? Like,
there are ways. I mean, when I was first starting out, I did door knocking.
okay,
I went and knocked on people's doors.
a neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, you could start off by farming a neighborhood if you wanted to, but I think it's easier when there's a property that you can go and say, hey, your neighbor down the street just listed. We have a lot of people looking in this neighborhood. Have you ever, have a conversation around that? I'd be happy to share some other stuff about lead gen, the room for it now, but I mean, I'd be happy to share how you can get started with it. Really, people think you have to spend a ton of money to get started in real estate. You just have to find people to talk to. That's it. Yes, sir.
For us older agents,
Yeah, I'm older.
it's really hard to adjust to AI and to texting and to things like that. Really try to stick to the CRM concept, phone calls, the little kind of the visits to a home truly means a lot. So do a personal note. Basically, whenever I do write a personal note, I never advertise myself. I sign it up, read, because I care about the person more as much as I care about sales. So I fall behind because it's harder to adjust to people who are that good in AI and things like that. And no matter how much that I pound my head against the wall and I have a big dent right on the top of my head. That's really the only way that I know how through the years of doing this.
Well,
And I don't know how to adjust.
and I will take the moment to issue a plug for an event on Thursday. It's at Heritage Hills, right? Heritage Hills from 6 to 8. It's a panel on using AI in real estate. There's some amazing speakers that are going to be at this event that are going to talk to you about how to incorporate AI into your business. I'm on the borderline of being an older agent. I turned 50 this year. I feel maybe a little older some days, but that's one of those things that I know that's where it's going. That's where it's going. I know. Some days I feel like 60, other days I feel 40. But I know AI is going to be a huge part of this. And to what you said, like, I think I can do rudimentary stuff on using AI. My 16-year-old daughter could, build an airplane on it, I feel like she can do everything with it. Will I ever be at that level? No, but I want to stay relevant in the business. I need to understand how to do some measure of it.
Exactly. So I keep thinking that I should just do what has gotten me there in the first place and to not be concerned about AI sending text that I can get totally unconstrued. But a phone call is more important than a text to me.
Oh, I'd much rather make a phone call than a text. However, I realize that not all clientele feels that way. I mean, the clientele that I'm typically talking to appreciates a phone call. Like the clientele that Jacob's talking to probably communicates more effective through text. Like knowing your client is that's a whole nother part into understanding the business of it.
Right.
I'm not trying to tell you how to communicate. I'm telling you to communicate. That's where I think most people miss the ball is they don't even make the effort to reach out in any way, let alone a personal text, a phone call, any of that. That's more what I'm getting to. But I agree with you. It's one of those things that it feels like it's hard to keep up sometimes. But again, Thursday night, if everybody wants it, the event is free. 6 to 8 at Heritage Hills. It's all about AI. All about it. So light refreshments. Sonia's buying beers for everybody that shows up, and that's what I come down to. Yeah, it's an extra little event. I'll give you a flyer for it. Yeah. Any other questions? No? Get out of here easy. Okay. Thank you guys for coming and listening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So like.
Yeah. Yeah. In the next week. No, they can do it. I don't like more today. Yeah. Can we do that?
You guys thought about us in the chat, but it's okay.
I don't know.
My folks wanted to see. Yeah. I've seen their works.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You guys forgot about us in the chat, but that's okay, I guess.
Yeah. I'm here for you.